What in the world, Bo? It's your boy Big Low Country. For everybody out there that don't know me, my name is Big Low Country. I'm just old country boy, former football coach that love to sit around and talk about sports. You, yes, you yourself couldn't have been anywhere in the world tonight, but you're here with us, and we definitely and greatly appreciate it. First of all, if you're watching the show after we go live already, make sure that you put a what in the world, Bo, in the comments. Also, make sure that you share the channel with your friends and family. If you do that for me, I promise you I'll dance at your wedding one day. We got a few things that we need to talk about. First of all, the old coach want to apologize to you. I apologize. I didn't get a chance to jump on right after right after the game on Sunday night. We went to the game in Santa Clara. Excuse me. Had a great time. But we took the train, and unfortunately, it took a while for us to get back to the hotel, and I didn't want y'all, sitting up here listening to me at 1:30 in the morning, Eastern time. So I do apologize about that. I apologize. Yesterday, I was trying to jump on, but me and Coach Ronnie, we're still out here in California, and we actually went on a little mission to see the sequoia trees. So um, I seen them before whenever I was younger. Took Coach Ronnie to go see them, and I think it kind of took her off guard because, yes, it's high in the mountains. It's very high in the mountains, guys. So um, whenever we got to the park, if I'm not mistaken, we had to drive 50 miles up the mountain, and that 50 miles took like an hour and 40 minutes. So by the time we got back down the mountain, we got up the mountain, looked at the trees, and got back down the mountain, it was late again. So I do apologize, but we're here now. So that's what's important. So we're gonna get a chance to chop it up, kick some things around, right? If you see here, my name, it says Big. It don't say Big Low Country. It says Big Low Crazy. Why does it say Big Low Crazy? Because I'm trying to figure out if I'm going crazy in regards to this Atlanta Falcons team. So for everybody, you know, we all know, we all know the Atlanta Falcons lost to the 49ers 20-10. We only scored 10 points. And I'm sitting here legitimately trying to figure out if I'm crazy because am I I'm not just gonna say am I, but are we putting more stock in this team than we should be? Is it a situation where, we're legitimately trying to figure out, what's going on? Is it a situation where we're, have we outkicked our coverage? I'm just trying to figure out exactly what's going on. But at the end of the day, I know that we're going to talk about it together. So let's go ahead and kick things around and kick things off. Got to show love to everybody that's showing love to us. Um, Big Love's in here. Big Love says, "Hey, Big Low Country." He says, "What's up with you and Coach Ronnie? Defense is going to look a little different without Diablo in the middle. We're going to talk about that. I'm glad that you mentioned that." Says, "Now, if we don't beat the Dolphins down in every way, then we're not good." Go, man. He started off right. Says, "I also think it's time to get those practice squad receivers on this team on Sundays." JGP Jr.'s in here. What in the world, Bo? What's going on with you, man? Grandizer's in here. What's love to you, Grandizer? Putting the links out. I appreciate you, Bo. Um, Ian's in here. Says, bro, I'm still, bro. I'm telling you, boy, I had to go find nature. I had to go touch some grass, Bo. I would say this right here. I heard all kind of horror stories about the San Francisco 49ers fans, nicest fans that we ever met. Nicest fans we ever met. Grandizer says, yo, Big old country. And Coach Ronnie, what is it? Where you be at, who you be with, and you know this. You also forgot the things to make you smile. What numbers to dial? You gonna be here for a while. I'm gonna call my crew. You gonna call your crew. We could rendezvous. See, y'all know nothing about that. Y'all know nothing about that. Grandizer also says, welcome our Falcons fans to the stream. Welcome our NFL fans watching around the world. Hope all of y'all are well and safe. Rise up. Much love, brother. We appreciate that. Jay's in here. He says, I want Raheem gone. It has to happen. We're gonna talk about all this, man. He says at least Zach. Still legacies in here. What in the world, Bo? What's going on with you? Yeet, get some. Hope you're doing good, fam. So look here. Shout out to my homeboy EP Eric Parker. Much love, Bo. So I asked a question on Twitter. I asked a question. I said, hey guys, are Atlanta Falcons fans justified for being upset at the coaching staff? Or is it a situation where we're just upset that we lost? I asked this question on Twitter, but of course I couldn't wait to ask the coaching staff this same question. So I'm going to ask y'all: Are we justified? Are we justifiably mad at the coaching staff? The fact that we lost, or is it just a situation where we're just upset that we lost? Right. So if you feel like we're justified for being upset at the coaching staff, put a 1 in the chat. If you feel like it's a situation where we just sore losers, put a 2 in the chat. Now, mind you, I just listened to Uncle Steve. Y'all make sure y'all go subscribe to Uncle Steve's Lounge. No, he gonna do everything for you. He'll pray for you. He'll sing you a couple of songs. He's not gonna sing as good as me, but he'll sing you a couple of songs. He'll make sure that you stay uplifted to make sure that we're not the Falcons fans that jumping over the bridge. So y'all make sure y'all subscribe to Uncle Steve's Lounge. Also make sure you subscribe to my homeboy Big Swill in here. Much love to you, Bo. New Falcons content creator, guys. He has the total package. Talks all football. Y'all check him out. Big Swill ATL. He says, OG Bo. He says, man, once I seen Diablo was out and JD was in, I knew it was a rip. Boy, what you talking about, boy? A day later, look, JD Bertrand is a personification of some people when it comes to paying bills. A day late and $1 short. Matter of fact, what's today's date? I need to check and see. I think I got to pay my Academy Sports credit card. Y'all don't tell Coach Ronan. I might be late on my Academy Sports credit card payment. Y'all don't tell Coach Ronan nothing. But yes, JD Bertrand was the equivalent of that on Sunday. Look, met the young man before. Great guy. Seems like he really wants to learn. He seems like he's going to be a coach. I don't know if y'all have ever heard the story, but he trying to get in every room, wants to learn so much and everything. But especially, I mean, look, you play against Christian McCaffrey, it's tough. It doesn't matter who you are. It's going to be tough. He's Christian McCaffrey. A healthy Christian McCaffrey is tough to stop. But man, I'm telling you, Sunday night, it was tough. It was tough. So I asked everybody in the chat if you feel like the Atlanta Falcons fans are justified for being upset at the coaches after that loss. I said, if you feel like it's a situation where we're justified, put a 1 in the chat. Now, if it's a situation where you're thinking, hey, let's chill out on this a little bit, put a 2 in the chat. So let's see what everybody's thinking. All right. Silk Legacy said 1. Big Swill says big ones. Okay, Eric Parker put 111 1. Ski says 1. Nando, what's going on, Nando? He says 1. Melvin Emery says 1 and 2. So I think I kind of get where you're coming from with this, Melvin, because it's one of them situations where it's like, hey, the coaching staff. Well, some people may say, because I ain't trying to put my thoughts on y'all, but some people may say that the coaching staff may have contributed to us losing this game. So it's one of those situations where, like, hey, yeah, 1, we're upset justifiably at the coaching staff and the fact that we lost. So I see where you're coming from, Melvin. Cliff in here. Cliff says 1. Will Smith, he says that the Falcons lose against a team that has defeated by Dylan Gabriel and the Cleveland Browns, either fire the coach, sit Penix, and let Kurt get us back on track. Daggone. We're going to talk about Michael Penix because this whole Michael Penix debacle question situation has been obviously the heated debate on Twitter today. Clifford, he says 1. Shouts out to my homeboy Sergeant King in here. He says, hey, Coach Lowe, Coach Ronan, what's going on, Bo? Hope you're doing good, fam. Cindy says inconsistency is due to coaching mistakes. Yes. Dravis in here. Dravis says 1. Raheem dug his own grave. Getting two inexperienced coordinators. Okay, gotcha. Eric Parker says supersize one. Okay. Big Swill says big ones in the chat. How do you have 10 players on the field during the pivotal 3rd and 13? It's inexcusable. Yes. Yes, 1,000 times. No, but nobody's told any lies today. No lies have been told in the chat today. Rounds one says, Lord, Lord, Lord. Hey, Coach Lowe, will we survive? Oh, that's only a question. I can't answer that question, Bo. It's look. The fact of the matter is that the cooler heads, right? The cooler heads out there are saying things like, "Hey guys, we still have 11 more games. Let's chill out on jumping to conclusions. There's still a lot of football left." And now, look here. That whole there's still a lot of football left conversation. We've heard that so many times. We've heard that so many times. How many times did we hear there's still a lot of football left with Arthur Smith? How many times did we hear it, guys? Think about it. So many times Arthur Smith would lose a game off of, a decision that we're all like, why did you do that? Or if we would have had a better quarterback, or if you would have actually showed some variance in play calling, we would have had a chance to win the game. But it's the 3rd game of the season, and we always look back and say, it's still a lot of football left. One thing that we have to realize is that whenever we say that there's still a lot of football left, it's the simple fact that it could go positively, yes, but it can also go negatively. And it's hard to level that plane out, and it nosedives. That's what we have to remember. The last 9 seasons, we haven't had a winning season, guys. The last 9 seasons, we haven't had a winning season. So for us to sit here and say, hey, it's one of those situations where, hey, look, there's a lot of football left with Divine Diablo going out, just like Big Swill mentioned earlier, Divine Diablo going out with a fractured forearm, and they're saying that they hoping that they could get him back before the end of the season. That top-ranked defense that you had, it's in jeopardy, right? I think now, as far as offensively, we dropped down to 3rd in total yardage or something like that. But when it comes to scoring offense, I believe you're like 28th now. Things start to struggle as you continue to go on, and it could be one of them situations where we can say, hey, there's a lot of football left, and we're on a J curve, and we're going upwards, right? We can legitimately say that. It's a J curve, and we're going up. Or we can say there's a lot of football left, and we're looking at things and saying, hey, the end of the season can't come fast enough, so we can go ahead and start over. That's what we have to remember. Now, Michael Penix. As a matter of fact, I just want to ask, just so I can read the room, right? I just want to read the temperature of the room. Just want to make sure that I just want to make sure where everybody's at. Do you feel like it's one of them situations where the Atlanta Falcons need to bench Michael Penix for Kirk Cousins? If you feel like we need to bench Michael Penix for Kirk, put a 3 in the chat. If you disagree with that, and you think it should be a whole nother situation, put a 4 in the chat. I just want to know what y'all thinking. I just want to know. Nando says Arthur Smith equals Raheem Morris equals losing seasons. Consistently inconsistent. Heck on. So, I mean, and I apologize. What did I say? Did I say if it's a situation where we need to bench Michael Penix, put a 3 in the chat, and if you need to, let him stay in, put a 4 in the chat. If somebody could kind of refresh my memory. I apologize, y'all. Y'all know the old dog getting old. Somebody can kind of confirm for me. I'm trying to figure everything out, do the show. Yeah, as y'all can tell, I'm kind of off base a little bit. I'm gonna get my bearings, y'all. I'm gonna get my bearings. I done drunk too much California wine. California wine. I was out there in Napa Valley. I was like, hey, I want to taste that stuff. Look good too. Let me taste some of that. Oh man. Brandon says, Big Low, you too, you on late, but I'm sorry, man. We just got back to the room. Just got back. Let's see. Will Smith says 3 at least for a spell to see what we can get. Okay, so you're saying 3. Okay, I appreciate that clip. So I said 3 if you feel like we should start Kirk Cousins. 4 if you feel like we should stick with Michael Penix. Like I said, I just want to fill the room out because I don't want it to be one of them situations where I'm getting jumped on and getting beat up. Right? I don't want that to be the case. So Mike Hollywood, he says 3. Feels like we might need to go ahead and look at Kirk Cousins. Excuse me. Marina Lopez says 4. Stick with Penix. Nando, Eric, rounds 1. They say 4. Stick with Penix. Silk Legacy said go ahead and put Kirk Cousins in there. Silk Legacy said he don't want to lose the season. Okay. Clifford says 4. Go ahead and move on with Penix. What's that? Was that Darius? Darius Key? Shouts out to you, Darius. Darius says, "Go ahead and move on with Kirk Cousins." I'm actually surprised we're getting more Kirk Cousins votes. Ty Breezy, Watch Connect TV. My homeboy Rob Man says Penix, he needs a coach. Boy, Lamar in here. Hold on, y'all. Coach Ronnie calling me. Hold on. Hey, what's up, baby? I have no idea, baby. I'm actually doing, huh? Oh, I just been saying I'm doing a show right now. Has anybody ever been to Carl's Jr.? In the chat. I don't know. I tell you what, just give me some chicken tenders. Um, yeah, just give me some chicken. But I did see they had a frozen strawberry lemonade. Okay. Yeah, because I really don't know what kind of burgers they got. So yeah. All right. Okay. Okay. My bad, y'all. My bad. Let's see. Ian says 4. Go ahead and keep on rolling with Penix. Silk Legacy says he hurt anyway. Go ahead and move on to Kurt. Chris, T Terry, they say 4. Go ahead and stick it out with Penix. Melvin says, man, I don't know, Bo. So it's crazy because I've been seeing that come across, especially my Twitter timeline here recently. A lot of people are saying we need to go ahead and put Kirk Cousins in and see what we can get with it. And yeah, y'all know me. I respect everybody's opinions, right? I'm never going to say, hey, it's a situation where that opinion's dumb or that opinion's stupid or anything like that. But I will say this: at this point in time, I don't think it matters who the quarterback is. I'm saying this one more time for the people in the back. At this point in time, I don't think it really matters who the quarterback is because the coaching is just, guys, we took, and what made it so bad is that Raheem Morris acknowledged himself at the end of the game last week. Raheem Morris gave the game ball to Bijan Robinson. The man said, hey, shouts out to the best player in football today. Whenever Christian McCaffrey signed the man's jersey, he signed, hey, you're the best player in football today. We took the best player in football the MVP candidate and Bijan Robinson, we took him out of the game. We took Kyle Pitts out of the game, who was legitimately eating. And we threw a ball in the flat on 4th and 1. I'm going to say this one more time for the people in the back. We threw the ball in the flat on 4th and 1. Mind you, on 3rd and 1, the down right before that, you run a toss play? It's 3rd and 1. You're in field goal range. Mind you now, we're not even talking about the fact that you don't trust the kicker. You're in field goal range and you run a toss play. Now, I'm gonna tell y'all something. There's one thing. Whenever I start getting annoyed, I start getting nervous, I start getting frustrated, I always rub my head. If y'all see me at the games and I start rubbing my head, or you see me anywhere else and I start rubbing my head, there's an issue. And I'm trying not to do it now, but I'm gonna tell you something. That is the definition. We have one of the best offensive line coaches in football. We have possibly the best right guard in football. You got an up and coming left guard that's making a name for himself. Ryan Newsel is no slouch. We run a toss play. If you run a toss play, especially in a short yardage situation, that's me. That's you telling me that you're scared of us. You're running away from us. If you turn around and toss that ball out here, Bijan's 220, right? I mean, Tyler Allgeier's a grown man in his own right. But if you toss that ball out here, and it's a situation where it's 3rd and 1, and let's say you went into the situation knowing that, hey, we're going to go for it on 4th and 1, or we're going to go for it on 4th and short. We don't trust the kicker. So I'm not even that mad at the toss play. There might have been a look that they saw. They may have like a certain rule, like, hey, if there's 7 guys within the box, short yardage, we're going to trust Bijan because we know Bijan is good to make somebody miss. If he can make somebody miss, then make something happen after that, we'll take those chances. Bijan Robinson out in open space, that's always a good look. Always a good look. But the simple fact that last week you ran the Felipe fake twice. One time you ran it and it worked. The second time you just got him to jump, it worked, and you didn't go back to it. You're on the road. The game is the clock is winding down. But the simple fact that we don't have a play, we don't have a formation package to put our quarterback under center, there's an issue there, guys. There's an issue. This isn't college football. This isn't college football. That's not Georgia Tech. Shouts out to Haynes King, who does so many great things out of the pistol that could run the ball. One of the toughest guys in college football today. That's not Haynes King. This isn't Georgia Tech. This isn't Texas Tech. This isn't Florida. This is the NFL. It's 4th and short. It's 3rd and short. We line up in the pistol. The simple fact that you line up in the pistol, that's giving the look as somebody. If I'm somebody on the other side of the ball, I'm like, oh, they lined up in pistol. Oh, they're not ready for this. They're back here. I mean, look, yeah, I'm sure it's a sign that they trust Michael Penix. I'm sure that they're saying, hey, we're still gonna give you the same look, and we could do different things out of it. Sometimes there's no need to recreate the wheel. Y'all know what that moment was. That was a look what I can do moment. Let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it a buck. The spirit of Arthur Smith and the look what I can do. That's what it was, guys. It doesn't make any sense. 4th and 1. And did y'all see the interview that the DB from San Francisco did after the game? The DB from San Francisco said, yeah, whenever I seen him line up in twos, I seen Drake London in twos, and that was the open side of the field. I said, oh, yeah, he's going to run that flat 7. So I said, I was just going to beat him to it. And I was like, dang, they're going to run this on 4th and 1? Okay. And he called it like it wasn't nobody's business. That's where we're at. So the reason why I asked that question about, hey, Michael Penix, should it be a situation where we make a move with Michael Penix? Why would you? If the offense is that predictable with Michael Penix, it's going to be that predictable with Kirk Cousins. Is there something that I'm missing? Coaching staff, could y'all please tell me? Am I missing anything? Because the defense on Sunday night, the defense did the best that they could do with what they had. Let's keep it a buck. I mean, the first half, Christian McCaffrey was eating on the ground, but we started stepping up. And what did they do? They legit did the same thing that we did last week. I was like, oh, okay, you trying to stop us on the run a little bit? We're going to throw it. We'll throw it to Christian McCaffrey. 3rd and short, we'll throw it. But what is one thing that the San Francisco 49ers did on 3rd and shorts, on 4th and shorts, multiple times on Sunday night? What are the multiple? What's the thing that they did multiple times? They ran quarterback sneaks. Why are we allergic to running a quarterback sneak? What what's the issue? Because the fact of the matter is that we've seen Michael Penix. Y'all seen Michael Penix play Michigan. That young man is tough. Michael Penix ain't scared of no quarterback sneak. You're trying to outthink yourself. You're trying to outthink what you did last week. And it doesn't make any sense. When's the last time the Atlanta Falcons ran a quarterback sneak? When's the last time we ran one? We didn't run one. We didn't run one with Desmond Ridder. We dang sure didn't run one with doggone Kirk Cousins. Was it Marcus Mariota? The last time we ran a quarterback sneak? It doesn't make any sense, guys. I'm legit confused. Because the fact of the matter is, think about this. Fact of the matter is, Coach says, he is in 2007. Coach says all preseason that he's trying to mitigate injuries. Think about this now. He says, nah, you're not going to see Michael Penix during the preseason. And it got to the point where he started getting kind of belligerent about it. I made a video about his whole interaction with D'Orlando Ledbetter. Now, I know D'Orlando's not everybody's cup of tea, but we still in the South and you respect your elders. But the fact of the matter is that, you get smart, like selling side jokes while you talking to this man. Man got belligerent. He got upset, got in his feelings and trying to make jokes and everything else. His whole thing was to make sure that he mitigated injuries. He was like, hey, this offense is going to be rolling. Don't worry about that. We're doing what we need to do on our side to get the offense rolling. You say that you're doing all this to mitigate injuries. But then on the last drive of the game, when the young man is actually injured and his body language, I don't know what Michael Penix was thinking, but I know while we were at the game, Michael Penix was out there by the numbers, almost looking like, hey, I kind of wish somebody might take me out right now. Because he was in some pain, y'all. I don't know if they were showing him on TV, but the young man was in some pain. You said all this whole time that we're not going to play the starters during the preseason because we want to mitigate injuries. As a coach, your main job is the welfare of your players. So whenever the time comes and the guy gets hurt, last drive, you need your feet and your legs to throw the ball. He's still out there. Why is he still out there? Because now he's in a situation. So think about this. You're not putting your team in the best situation because everybody knows that you need your legs to throw the ball. The ball that he threw out of bounds, that was all arm. And the receiver had the guy beat, but it was all arm. It was all arm. That's why he missed the throw. So moving forward, not only the simple fact that it hurt his performance, but if your feet and your legs aren't working, especially the way that they were getting to us in the backfield consistently, do you think he's going to be able to get away and protect himself? Do you think about it? Do you think he's going to be able to get away and protect himself efficiently if he's in that much pain we could barely walk on the field? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. Silk says Penix got a bone bruise in his leg and foot. Yeah, I heard about that, man. Georgia, Texas boy says, what up, Big Low Falcons family? The new era is here. The Atlanta Falcons will rise in 2025. It ain't over. And I agree with you. I agree with you. It's not over. Like we said a little bit earlier, there's a whole bunch of ball left. Whole bunch of ball left. But if the goal is to mitigate injuries, let's mitigate the injuries, Bo. Let's mitigate the injuries. If the guy's hurt, even if he's telling you he's good, y'all seen that boy. Y'all seen that boy out there. He was limping, hobbling around. He was hitting that whole walk, trying to walk it off. We've all been there, especially if you play sports. You try to walk it off and you can't because there's just some things that the body can't do. There's some things that the body can't withstand. And look, you can tell he wasn't withstanding that, especially a fresh injury. I seen the hit. They hit him low. They should have got flagged for it, to be in all honesty, because they definitely hit him below the knees. Dr. Slick says, what in the world? What's going on, Bo? What's going on? Project Warrior says, we just need to be patient with the run game and execute the dagger concepts that Penix runs so well. Instead, Zach got skittish and desperate. Come, not desperate. That's rough. Man, desperate. Desperate OCs of Atlanta. That's rough. That's rough. William, he says Penix not playing the season in the preseason has no impact on his current performance. Penix is a great quarterback, but I don't think it would have much difference, evidently. I'm not talking about his performance. I'm not talking about that. Look, it's week 7? He just played his 9th game overall. I'm not talking about Michael Penix's performance. The whole preseason conversation is gone. I'm not talking about his performance in that regard. What I'm talking about is the reason why they said that they held him out during the preseason was to mitigate injuries. But then he gets hurt in the game, and they still have him out there playing. It doesn't make any sense. In my opinion, I'm not the coach of the Atlanta Falcons. I'm not getting paid like that. So look, if you like it, I love it, Coach. T. Terry says, we in the chat that has played football before, you're not going to get bruises. That's the game. Look, you know that you're going to get bruises. That's the game. Now, the thing is about a bone bruise, you don't know if it's a bone bruise or not. You think you broke your leg, or you think you broke your ankle, or you think you broke your foot. You don't know because it's a bruise. So I mean, look, you played football before. Get a bone bruise in your foot. Ain't no joke, boy. You go ahead and get you a bone bruise in your foot. You gonna hit that. Oh, I'm gonna walk it off, and it ain't gonna work. We got our first Superman chat. Shouts out to Big John of the eye test. He says, "Can we bench the OC?" He says this was the same mess, Carolina. Question is, can we play outside? Yeah, why aren't they using the middle of the field? Dummies, da. That's a Superman chat. Look, I mean, that you know what? That's actually a pretty good question. Now, I know whenever me and Uncle Steve went to that Carolina game, it was hot. It was hot out there, Mr. John. Like it didn't have nobody. It didn't make no sense how hot it was out there. Now, the game on Sunday, it was perfect football weather. Mid-60s. I mean, perfect football weather. I mean, it wasn't cold, it wasn't hot. Perfect. It was the man that was the best weather to play football in. But as far as throwing the ball in the middle of the field, I mean, look, you can put some of that on Zach Robinson, of course, because Zach Robinson comes up with the pass concepts and authorizes the pass concepts, and then you put some of it on Michael Penix, because at the end of the day, Michael Penix, he pulls the trigger last, like he makes the final decision. So that's actually a good question. Drake, he just won all day facts. He says, I think we're justified. Ian says, Big Low, can the power run game fix our woes? I mean, the fact of the matter is, Ian, is that this is what we were talking about, I believe, a couple of weeks ago, whenever we asked the question, well, what happens whenever somebody shuts down Bijan? Because I think we would all agree Bijan is the best player in the league. But if it's a situation where that day they just had the perfect plan, to kind of bottle Bijan up, I mean, and they still didn't bottle him up all together. He still got a touchdown. But if it's a situation where they really key in on Bijan, what is their plan after that? And I mean, we seen today. I mean, let's be honest. Kyle Shanahan, Robert Saleh, they had a plan for Bijan, and after that, it was kind of like, I mean, what you gonna do? I mean, Michael Penix, he looked very indecisive. There were times where he held the ball a little bit too long. We threw a few screens. Kyle Pitts caught a few screens, but Kyle Pitts caught a few legit passes. He looked good. He was a man coverage beater. But it's kind of like what Mr. John was saying a little bit earlier. We got to sling that thing down the field a little bit, Bo. We can't just sit here and just dink and dunk all night. We gotta make sure we keep these boys honest. Now, those plays that we ran at the end of the game, Darnell Mooney, he dropped that pass, but Darnell Mooney had him stacked up. And that's what we thought we were going to be getting initially. So I really feel like moving forward, we just gotta figure out, how to get the offense moving again a little bit. I mean, look, so far this season, we've seen it be a situation where the offense struggled. Everybody and their mama talked about it, and then Raheem, Zach Robinson, everybody else, they responded and, they came out with a good performance. I'm hoping this is one of those situations. Shouts out to Coach Christy in here. What's going on, Christy? Hope you're doing good tonight, family. Christy said they double teamed Drake. They were bracketing Drake. They were bracketing him. So I mean, it was on Kyle, and Kyle he made a few good catches for some first downs. Casey Washington made a catch, real big catch at the beginning of the game. But let's look at the stats. Let's I always say that the stats tell the story, right? All right. So, whenever you look at this game, I don't know about y'all, and y'all feel free to put it in the chat. But what was the glaring thing that stood out to y'all? So for me, it was the fact that we threw the ball 38 times. Michael Penix threw the ball 38 times for 241 yards. He completed 21 of those. And he had one touchdown, no interceptions. So keep doing what you're doing, Mike, in regards to keeping the ball out of harm's way. Love that. Love that. Now, on the other side, and also, if y'all could do a country boy favor, make sure that you hit that like button for me. You hit that like button for me, I promise you I'll dance at your wedding one day. Y'all know we always try to shoot for around 100 likes by the time we get finished. I would definitely and greatly appreciate that. Now on the other side, Bajan ran the ball 14 times for 40 yards. That's 2.9 yards a carry. Longest carry for 8 yards. Tyler Algier, he ran the ball 4 times for 16 yards. Now we know the formula. You know you're winning the game when Tyler touched that ball at least 8-10 times. So Tyler touching the ball like that, you got a good chance to win it. But once again, we don't know what they were keying in on. We don't know what they saw based off of the reference notes. We thought that with Fred Warner being out, it'll be a situation where we could kind of do what we want to do it over the middle, but that wasn't the case. Receptions, Darnell Mooney, he had that long reception at 38 yards, but he had 3 catches for 68 yards. He was a real big impact player at the end of the game. Kyle Pitts, 7 catches, 62 yards, with a long of 19. Bajan Robinson, 6 catches, 52 yards, and 1 touchdown. Drake, 4 catches for 42 yards. Casey Washington, 1 catch for 17 yards. Now, on the other side of the spectrum, you look at the 49ers. Mac Jones threw the ball 26 times, completed 17 of them for 152 yards. We're always keeping that pass. We're always keeping that pass game down. He threw a pick, no touchdowns. Christian McCaffrey, 24 carries, 129 yards, 2 touchdowns. Ate us alive. Brian Robinson, 9 carries, 36 yards. Does this sound familiar? Does this sound like an Atlanta Falcons stat line? Number one guy getting 120-something yards, 2 touchdowns, back up, getting 9 carries, Christian McCaffrey catching 7 passes for 72 yards. Juwan Jennings, 4 catches, 44 yards. I'm sorry, 4 catches, 31 yards. I mean, so it's legitimately one of them situations where we kind of held them in check. One man beat us. Guys. Christian McCaffrey took us to the woodshed. You also got another Superman chat. With a Doc says, appreciate you traveling across the country to support our Falcons, especially for Ulbrich. The coaching staff has to get better. Still got hope. Dun, dun, dun. That's a Superman chat. Hey, bro, that's all we got. That's all we got. We all we got, bro. Gotta love the hope. Yes, Chris. It was us in reverse. It legitimately was us in reverse. We look, that's at the end of the day, that's our formula for winning. But the 49ers, Falcon better than the Falcons. T. Terry says, JPJ was dancing at the prom game. Dad, come on, man. He was dancing at the prom, and come on, man. Come on. Look, he was hustling. He just couldn't get it done. It was at the end of the day, we got outcoached. Let's just call it what it is, guys. Robert Saleh got the best of Zach Robinson. Kyle Shanahan, I ain't even gonna say he got the best of Jeff Ulbrich. I'll say the simple fact that at the end of the day, they did what they needed to do to win. I mean, at the end of the day, it is what it is. Losing Divine Diablo really hurt us. It really hurt us because look, that was going to be the guy that was going to be playing that A and B gap, shooting out to those flats with Christian McCaffrey doing what he needed to do to really, really help mitigate the damages that Christian McCaffrey would have brought. But unfortunately, we couldn't get it done, man. We couldn't get it done. Big John says, my point is no design pass plays in the middle. That's on your OC, John. That's on your OC. At the end of the day, that's on your OC. And we appreciate that. Da-da-da. That's a Superman chat. Appreciate that, Bo. But that's on your OC, John. I mean, I can't say nothing in regards to that, man. Will Amy says we got to win 10 games. Embarrassing, lost Sunday, and we have to turn the page in Miami. We have to turn the page to Miami. I definitely agree with you. Definitely agree with you. Will Amy also says, I pray we get Walker and Billy Bowman Jr. Now, look, the last game before this game, whenever Walker was healthy, he played a little bit of off-ball linebacker. Now, this is where you have the genius of Terry Fontenot's draft because, I mean, your boy Jalen Walker, he might be able to come in and fill in for Diablo and, get a little bit of that run to, and I'm not saying this in a mean way, but to keep J.D. Bertrand off the field. They might have to make that transition a little bit sooner rather than later. But at the end of the day, J.D. Bertrand, especially against those talented guys, think about it. A-Chan with Miami, he's no slouch. That's not a situation. That's not one of those play games kind of guys. He ain't no slouch. So, that's something that you might have to consider. You might have to consider moving Jalen Walker to that other Mike linebacker spot to, kind of help out Caden Ellis because I just don't know. Look, at the end of the day, I trust Jeff Ulbrich more than I trust Zach Robinson at this point in time. I feel like Raheem Morris's willingness to hire his homeboys who were both inexperienced is really coming back to bite us. Because last year, let's be honest, the defense kept us from making it to the playoffs. This year, this offense, with the talent that we have on this team, Darnell Mooney, he's been cleared to play, y'all. I know that some people saying, hey, I think he still might be hurt. Y'all, before the fourth quarter, before the end of the fourth quarter, Darnell Mooney was out there just getting cardio, both. He was just out there getting cardio. And look, I understand sometimes the quarterback ain't gonna see some things. I understand that. But now your OC is on the sideline. He could tell, he could show him on his tablet, like, hey, look, you got this guy right here. All you got to do is make sure to look this safety off. That if you get the same kind of look like you got last time, they think that you're not paying no attention to this. Go ahead and pop around and hit him in that seam. He's gone. That's 6. This is why the OC is supposed to be on the sideline. But we're not seeing it. We know if there's one thing Darnell Mooney could do is separate. We know that. So to Big John's point, those passes in the middle of the field that we're not seeing, is there a reason why? It's tough, man. It's tough. Georgia Texas boy says facts. That's on the OC. I'm not taking up for Zach, but we have to understand this is his 23rd game as an actual play calling offensive coordinator. Look, I completely understand that, Georgia Texas boy. As but the fact of the matter is, Bo, is that whenever it, so okay, sometimes situations are so bad, or sometimes situations are so negative, right? Like for example, if you're in a relationship with somebody and they just treat you bad, they just treat you so bad, you know it's not gonna change, right? Like you know it's not going to be one of them situations where they're going to wake up on October 22nd and be like, you know what, I'm going to treat you good. I'm going to make sure I listen to your feelings. I'm going to make sure that I I want to take your feelings into account. I'm going to consider you before I make all my decisions. I'm just going to make sure that I give you all the love and support that you truly need. They're not, you know, they're not going to wake up one day and do that, right? So the fact that Zach Robinson isn't lining up under center on fourth and third and ones, or we don't even have a package for an under center play, I be doggone. I wouldn't doubt if them boys on doggone whenever they take a knee and they hike it back to the pistol and take a knee. I wouldn't even doubt that. Fact of the matter is sometimes, and I appreciate like all of the positivity, but sometimes you got to look at trends and trajectories. Sometimes trends and trajectories tell the whole story. For example, let's see. Give me 1 second. I'm just gonna look something up right quick. Okay. So Raheem Morris's career coaching record is 30 and 49, right? 30 and 49. So that means that he's coached 79 games as an NFL head coach. Do you feel like over the next 100 games, he's going to end up having a over 500 record based off of his previous actions? Do you feel like he's going to turn things around and have 7, 10 win seasons and everything turn around? You could go in that direction, or you could turn around and say, well, wait a minute. So he's 30 and 49. So over the next 79 games, that means that he might end up being 60 and 98. You can look at it two ways. You could look at it two ways. And I just don't want to be the team that takes one step forward and two steps back. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Man, every everybody whenever I ask the question, I say, hey, do you feel like after Raheem Morris goes 30 and 49, do you feel like he just magically changes things and has 7, 10 win seasons? Let me see what the comments are. Silk Legacy says no. Let us praise his heck nah. What in the world, Bo? He says, can a leopard change his spots? My homeboy Larry on Facebook says, no, that ain't gonna happen. CMJ says, nope, nope, nope. Ghost Pepper says, nope, he doesn't see that. Look, Brian People says, I don't trust Raheem, period. CMJ says, no. Carlos says, stop it, Lo. He said, you making me load my AK. Nah, don't load that. Nah, we ain't trying to chop them up. We ain't trying to chop them up, Bo. Brown people says it's grass red. I'm like, what are we doing? oh, oh man. See, and Larry says, look, man, he needs to go. And look, my whole thing is Let them finish the season out. I know everybody's like, "Hey, it's still early in the season," and I agree. We just played 6 games, but Raheem Morris, as of today, 30-49 coaching record, right? 30-49 coaching record. This is his third chance to be a head coach. What I've seen after our wins, especially our decisive wins, they remind me very much of whenever he was the interim head coach. And y'all tell me if y'all remember this now. This reminds me very much of whenever he was the interim head coach and we played the Las Vegas Raiders in the Benz. I think the first game or the second game. I think it was the second game. We played Las Vegas Raiders the second game after he became the interim head coach. We kicked the Raiders in between the washer and the dryer. We whooped up on them boys. Then what we do the rest of the season? Flash in the pan, shooting stars. Look, we can sit here pretend that we can act like we B.O.B. all day long. We can sit out there at Hartsfield Jackson, out there, we can sit out there in the graveyard by Hartsfield Jackson and say, "Can we pretend that airplanes in the night sky are like shooting stars?" We can do that if we want to. But at the end of the day, if you have a decisive or a good win and then you turn around and lose decisively, we're not going anywhere like that, Bo. You're not going to survive and advance like that. You got to stack wins together. It's just like I said last week whenever we were talking. It's like I said last week when we were talking. It's like whenever I went to go play golf the other day. I was playing with a 3 handicap guy. Shouts out to my homeboy Brandon and Cameron, 3 and 6 handicap. The first 4 or 5 holes, I was right there with him. And I got the feeling myself. The pace got changed just a little bit. And that's when the true big low country came out. I'm not ready. I'm not ready to be on that level yet. There's a reason why there are 3 handicaps and I'm 20. I'm just saying. So sometimes some people are just what they are. People change, of course. But at the end of the day, let's be honest, Raheem has a 30-49 record. He got put in bad situations in Tampa. We had to acknowledge that. There were times where he didn't have the talent. Josh Freeman was his quarterback. Then they went to the playoffs with that. But at the end of the day, the decisions that you continuously make, because I don't know if Raheem Morris is getting timeout bonuses or what. I don't know if at the end of the year they check and see how many timeouts he kept and he gets an extra $100,000. I don't know what's going on. But at the end of the day, the decisions that you make consistently determines who you are. In the words of Coach Ronnie's Maya Angelou impersonation, when someone tells you who they are, you believe them. I'm just saying, am I wrong? Is it a coach staff? Y'all let me know if I'm wrong. If I'm lying and I'm flying, y'all let me know. I agree with you. I mean, it's not all on Penix. Because at the end of the day, think about this. If you look at the first 3 games Michael Penix played, those last 3 games of the season last year, and you look at these 6 games that he's played this season, statistically, his numbers are better. But I don't know if my homeboy Big John is in here. When you see the eye test, he looked better last year than he did. And the crazy thing is, I think the reason why his quarterback rating was lower last year It's because there were like 2 interceptions that he threw that weren't his fault in a short span of time. But last year, I think he had 3 interceptions. Last year, I think he had 3 interceptions. Oh, it ain't the frozen joint. Huh? It ain't the frozen joint.
No, they said the machine wasn't working.
I'm sorry, Stacks. I'm sorry.
Regular lemonade.
I'm sorry, Joker.
Take your 100 first.
I'm sorry, Joker boy. Thank you, baby. But yeah, so at the end of the day, I feel like, thank you. At the end of the day, I feel like it's one of those cases where Michael Penix is regressing. Let's keep it above. He looked better last year than he did this year. I mean, let me ask y'all, am I wrong? Do you feel like Michael Penix looked better last year in those last 3 games than he did this year? If you feel like he did, put a 1 in the chat. You feel like it's one of them situations where, hey, Big Low tripping, put a 2 in the chat. I ain't gonna be mad at you. I ain't gonna be mad at you. Project Award says Penix look great if you're Willie Nelson. Dang go. Dang go. You talk about you said he looked great as far as this year. You saying you saying I'm inebriated? Am I saying he looked great this year? Now, look, if you're talking about last year, I'd be doggone. I guess I'm on the road again because he looked pretty good. That's what made everybody so excited this whole offseason. I do need y'all to make sure you do a country boy favor. Make sure that you hit that like button. You hit that like button for me. I promise you I'll dance at your wedding one day. Make sure that you hit that like button. And if someone could let us know how many likes we have in the chat, somebody in the coaching staff, I would definitely and greatly appreciate it. So I said, put a 1 in the chat. You feel like Michael Penix looked better last year than he did this year, or than he does this year. And if you feel like he looks better this year, put a 2 in the chat. CMJ, rounds 1, Silk Legacy, the real Ty Breezy. They said 1. They feel like he looked better last year. And we're not saying, I'm not putting this on Michael Penix. I feel like this is on the coaching. I just want to be clear. Now it's the time says he has his moments, but y'all weren't saying that last week. I feel like he looked better last year against the Washington Commanders than he did last week. I mean, how can I say it? Yes, we won. Yes. Shouts out to Bijan Robinson. You know what I'm saying? But last year, whenever there were like 2-3 plays that could have been touchdowns that we didn't get, and 2-3 interceptions that it was a situation where it weren't his fault. It looked better last year, even in the wins. I'll be honest with you. Dr. Slick says, absolutely. Shouts out to Dre Murray. So what's going on with you, Dre? What's up, beloved? How you doing tonight, Bo? Iron Mike says, sounds like an awful Desmond Winter story. Daggone. Man, Desmond Winter. Such high hopes. Dun, dun, dun. That's a Superman chat. Shouts out to you, Iron Mike. Also, DC Craig says Ra and Zach are not it, period. Zach is probably gone anyways for college and hiring Ra again. Like going back to the same ex multiple times, expecting something different. Common sense don't exist with Rob. There you go, boy. I tell you, I appreciate that, Bo. That's that dun, dun, dun. That's a Superman chat. That's rough. I mean, but y'all heard that Zach Robinson is tied to the Oklahoma State head coaching job, right? That's where he played ball at. He was the head coach. I mean, he was the quarterback at Oklahoma State. Let's see here. Georgia Texas boy, pretty slim. They say one. They feel like Michael Penix looked better last year. Dr. Slick, Will Smith said they all agree. Carlos is 261 yards, 1 touchdown. Still ain't enough to get wins in our losses. Hello. Let us pray says, I've been saying all season, him not having solid protection at right tackle is making a huge difference in his confidence. I mean, look, see, this is why Let Us Pray is one of the great Atlanta Falcons content creators. Y'all make sure y'all check brother out, man. He spit knowledge. Carlos said we got 62. Okay. Appreciate that. I appreciate them likes, Bo. I definitely appreciate that. Kevin Hicks says, big. Kevin Hicks said, Bigelow grew the hair out. Got the red spots going. Man, boy, I'm telling you, look, that means I need to get to the barbershop. I need to get old razor on it, Bo. Need to get old razor on it. Will Smith says, Lo, you can't dance at my wedding. You might leave with my woman. No, Bo, never that, man. Come on now. You a fool, Bo. Never that now. Never that. Let's see. We also got another Superman chat. Brian Peoples in here. He says, Zach Robinson is giving me, look what I could do vibes. So look here. But everybody's watching. If you ever watch Mad TV, there was this character on there named Little Stewart, right? And whenever Little Stewart would be in a precarious situation, he didn't know how to get out of it. Little Stewart, he always panicked, and he'd be like, "Look what I can do," and he'll just glitch out. No, you should look it up on YouTube. If you're a young Thundercat and never watch Mad TV, but we got the whole "Look what I can do." Shouts out to you, B Peoples, from Arthur Smith, because Arthur Smith would literally have "Look what I can do" moments on third and short situations. He would run double tight end passes with Kyle Pitts blocking. Shouts out to my homeboy Uncle Lou Algier in here, man. Got a chance to chill out with Uncle Lou a little bit at the game on Sunday night, man. Great people, Bo. Great people. Much love to Uncle Lou and the Algier family. Willie Doc says, as long as Miami don't fire Mike McDaniel before Sunday, we got a chance. Daggum, Mike. That's rough. That dude Mike's so wrong. I take him as the offensive coordinator. I take him as the offensive coordinator all day. CMJ says, please send him to Stillwater. Daggum, boy. But the fact of the matter is, guys, we joke. At this point, all we want, you got all of this talent. The plan is, for the most part, work together, drafting all of that offensive talent back to back to back to back. You got Kyle Pitts, you got Drake London, you got Bijan Robinson, you got Michael Penix, you went and got Darnell Mooney, you got Ray, but he gone. But you went and got all of that offensive talent. You got to get the guys to develop. This offense that we're running is a college offense. I mean, look at it, guys. The coach is trying to go back to college. We play in the National Football League. This isn't the National for College League. If you want to develop your young players. Because think about it, Drake London, he's gonna be up. It's gonna be time for him to go. Chris Olave just got his deal done. I'm pretty sure he wants to be developed. Kyle Pitts, he's on his last year. Bijan Robinson, the best player in the NFL today, he's coming up soon. I don't want to see Bijan Robinson go back to Arizona where he's from. I don't want that. I don't want Bijan Robinson to go to leave Atlanta. I want him to I want to see him wear nothing but red and black. Shouts out to the Robinson family. What I need to do? what I need? Robinson family, if y'all watching, y'all need me to come over there and barbecue for y'all. I'll bring my smoker and everything. What y'all need me to do? You know, we want them in Atlanta. At the end of the day, you got all this young talent, and all of these guys have strived to be the best version of themselves that they can be. They don't want to stop growing now. They want to continue growing and exceed expectations. That's all I'm saying. Now, if you got a college coach, a guy that's, pretty much it's looking like he's going to go back to college, running college plays, it almost looks like he's practicing to go back to college. If you look at the plays that we're successful on, a lot of times they're successful based off of pure talent. Think about it. In the game last week, I ain't talking about the Sunday night game. How many times did Bijan Robinson make 3-4 people miss on one play? Think about that. Think about that. Imagine if we had an offense where there were multiple threats. Darnell Mooney was getting 6-7 targets. Drake London was getting 8-9 targets. Kyle Pitts was getting 7 targets. There were so many threats that it was a situation where defenses couldn't key in on Bijan Robinson, and he only had to make 1, maybe 2 people miss. That's when your offense takes a whole nother step. I'm just saying. Pretty Slim says, didn't Arthur Blank hire Raheem? Are we missing something? Here's the problem, like it or not. Look, at the end of the day, he's the man that writes checks. At the end of the day, he's the man that writes the checks. I mean, look, it sounds like it would have been Raheem Morris or Bill Belichick. And nobody wanted Bill Belichick. Right? Raheem Morris, Bill Belichick. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Uncle Lou says, Dirty Lou says, we got multiple threats. Our OC is too obvious when calling plays. Look, whenever the DB on the other team says, I knew what they were going to run before they called the play or before they hiked the ball. I just had to beat them to the spot. That's when you have your issues. That's when you have your issues. I'm just saying, guys. I'm just saying. Well, look, man, I ain't gonna hold y'all up. I know that it's pretty late over there. Let's see. It's 11:25 over there. I just want to come on and chop it up with y'all. Let y'all know what was going on. But look, thank y'all so much for coming on to chopping it up with us so late. It's not as late over here. I'm still on the West Coast. But look, I need y'all to stay safe. I will definitely be back for the game on Sunday, where we could try to work and get this dub. And look, just like a lot of people said, like Uncle Steve and a lot of other people said, look, at the end of the day, There's still a lot of football left. We just got to hope that it goes upward bound instead of a downward spiral. That's what we got to hope. There's a lot of football left. That could be a good thing or a bad thing. I need y'all to stay safe. Please don't do anything that I would do. Make sure that you hit that like button, man. What in the world, Bo?